Namaste and welcome to class. And thank you so much for sitting with me with your undivided attention. And in this class, I want to talk about cohesiveness and the different cohesiveness that perhaps it will complete some of your point of view, and that you, in that way, you can learn. So, what is cohesiveness? We'll see that cohesiveness can be applied not only as a general term, but it really applies accordingly to the dimension that you are. For example, I am being coherent and speaking and moving my hands in the way that are compatible and are completely an expression of an idea, right? I'm moving my body, my thought process is in alignment, my voice is in cohesiveness, and so on. So that is the cohesiveness in communication, right? I am not saying something and thinking something. I'm not trying to reach some kind of expectation that, oh, you should understand me, or I should be clever, or I should be in certain way. No, I'm just making the physical organs, the mind, my emotions, my intention of communication in certain way where you are able to receive a whole full presence. So there is the cohesiveness of communication. Within the physical body, you have the cohesiveness of organs, right? Like you are in an orchestra, and each of these organs have a resonance that is very much in conjunction to what is it that you're thinking, your belief systems, right? If I am just eating a pear and I think, oh, this is not going to sit well with my stomach and so on, most likely the process and digestion of the pear won't be fun. So is each of the organs, naturally they have to be in certain cohesiveness in order to produce the harmony in your body, the congruence of biology and physiology and anatomy. Then it comes the cohesiveness and the plane of your emotions. And the plane of emotions is when you feel something and you are owning the space. You are not suppressing it. You are not putting a mask on it. You are not thinking that, oh, I am sad, but everything is fine. So I don't giving the open for sadness. I don't give the space really to sit with what is it that I am feeling. Now, no identification on that, right? Which is just emotions comes and goes, and some are pleasant and some are unpleasant, but all depends of the cycles and your cosmic tune in and so on. But if you have emotional cohesiveness, something very interesting happen here, and it's the cohesiveness that you have on your breath. Because in each emotion, because it's plasmic, that emotion will have a certain discharge of prana. It will have a certain information that goes into the physical body, into the field of communication with the outside world. And this field, them start uniting the organs, the communication, and the emotions. So the cohesiveness expand is not something that is static, right? So it's certain cohesiveness on that. Then it comes the cohesiveness in mind. And let me ask you, do you walk, you stand up after you read a book and say, oh, I need to do my laundry. And then from the space you walk from the chair towards the laundry, you end up in the fridge and eating your pancakes from this morning. How many of you have think of something in a short term or a long term, and in the way you take so many little roots that is, oh no, I forgot about it. I don't have the cohesiveness between my intention, which is super important, girls, because that is the way, the intention is the way that you are directing the energy of cohesiveness. So any thought that is in disorder, it cannot penetrate the order in the emotions and cannot penetrate the order in your communication, and of course not in the physical body, because it's a resonance. It is a feedback from the body all the way to the subtle aspects of yourself. I'm talking about the subtleness. You have your physical body, you have your earth bodies that I call, which is a combination of the physical body, etheric body, emotional body, mental body. That is the body of experiences. Is the ones that is the teacher, is the action, the grounder of the resonance. And that have an intention already written, that is embedded in your heart, embedded in your higher self, embedded in that anatomically to that subtle, deep energy of your heart. And when that is in cohesiveness, then you're happy, then you're expanding, then you feel secure, you feel that you are out of the conflict. And that earth bodies need to be in cohesiveness with a larger field of energy that also have certain cohesiveness, right? For example, the field of your parallel lives. You have a different parts of you in different places of evolution and in different place of learning, and they communicate with you. They are entangling somehow that forming the higher self. All that community is in certain cohesiveness in your subconscious. And that cohesiveness is preparing your own evolution and sustaining your own evolution in this incarnation. So ultimately, at the level of the soul bodies, you need to be in congruence with what is it that you are doing by listening to your heart, listening to what you know, no denials, no judgments, no holding on to hurts, no dramatizations, no interpretations. When you look at that, when you're free of that, you immediately are connecting to a higher way of perceiving. It becomes even more subtle. It becomes even more fragrant. It becomes even more space, more expansion. And that's when you are actually in cohesiveness with a field that unites not only your parallels life, but all the parallels life of humanity, of the world, of the universe, of the cosmos. You are traveling into a different kind of information, a different kind of field that unites all these different layers of dimensions within your existence. So cohesiveness gives you the understanding that there are multiple parts of you that are very distinctive, and they have different functions and anatomies and rules, and they are all communicating, not overlapping or with effort one on top of the other one. We don't override the body with the mind. We don't override the emotions with the body, and so on. Everybody is given a voice, a resonance, a geometry, a platform, a mandala to be heard and to be incorporated in the great, great existence of your cycles, of your permanent, of your eternity. So when we are really understanding cohesiveness, we are naturally incorporating and cooperating with all these other voices, with all other needs. Some of them, they need effort, like the physical body need effort to go to the bathroom, to be fed, to be walked, to be slept. And other ones are just there in a sort of form that give us or give the resonance of more of guidance or support or a certain sense of what is the best direction for your original intention, your very basic of why you are here. If you are able to answer that question, not in the action, but in the subtleness, you immediately start having cohesiveness between the action, the gross part of you, and the subtle part of you. With that cohesiveness, naturally you perceive that you are a global citizens of the universe. You see all the voices as incorporated, and you feel that you belong, that you are not alone, that you are part of this unified field of existence. Now, let's talk about the relationship between learning and cohesiveness. And this is very much rooted in the neuroplasticity and harmonic principles, because no system that is not in cohesiveness, it cannot really learn. Now, a system that is not in cohesiveness will learn only by accumulating information or a skill, right? You just learn new things, and you apply the different concepts of time, elevated concepts or practical concepts, and you accumulate them. But true learning is more than that. It's not the accumulations of information. True learning is when all these parts that are in cohesiveness are communicating and are completing a point of view of who you really are. So it's more of a communication network. And that communication network has to happen in the brain. And that's where the neuroplasticity comes in. It's not an accumulation memory. It's not learning, is not a accumulated memory. It is a participation where you're showing up what is in your field, in your resonance, in your presence, and you donate that to the field. You unite all other parts to make and participate cohesiveness. So cohesiveness and learning are very much hand to hand. When we are departing that all ways of learning, I want to see it already in the past, and to see that learning is really more of a uniting network. And this is what really the IA and other platforms that are coming into our human civilization are obliged us. Either we fried our brain with so much information, or we are developing the cohesiveness that is able to organize this information in a way that is giving you a point of view about a reality. So the neural cohesiveness and learning it involves the formation of new pathways and connections in your brain, so you are able to complete the ones that are existing or creating a new ones. So that's what really the neuroplasticity is all about. Now, in terms of if your system is in cohesiveness, you are able to receive information as is. If it's not in cohesiveness, the information get distorted. And with that, the resonance, and with that, the geometry of your mandala, of your vibration, your all mandala of vibration, get more or less distorted. So the process of learning the truth is very much in cohesiveness. And the cohesiveness is a gradual alineation of all the different dimensions, the 12 dimensions that I have mentioned in other videos, that are in communication, that they are not judging each other and they are supporting each other. So this is a very important part of how learning is really actually happens, because in the moment that you are observing that subtle and gross part of yourself, you're able to take practical steps towards something that is mindful and that increase even more the cohesiveness, like meditation, right? You can sit in meditation and have that breath that is cohesive and improve the learning and stabilize the attention and the emotional regulation and the environment that you create to promote that type of support, the social contacts that you develop in order to have that cohesiveness in learning, active learning. So it's a very important, because we can only retrieve the information from the heart, information from your higher self, when you have cohesiveness. The resonance of your heart need to arrive to the mind and have to arrive to the emotions and have to arrive in the body in strong, coherent way, in order for you to maintain the aspect of support and the health and the ability for you to perceive what is true and what is not. I thank you very much for sitting with me, and I'll see you in our next class. Namaste.